Before we get started, please take the time to like, add, and subscribe to our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes. Also, please leave us a review.
Every time we go in that way, it's always been a banger. So
Always wolves, bears.
yeah. Oh my.
Oh my.
Yeah.
We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Clink.
Clink. Hello, and welcome to another wonderful Wednesday with the Wandering Ways crew. I am the one and only, probably there's another one out there, Reverend Mark, and I am with, as usual, as per use most of the time, good old Ranger Zach. Ranger Zach, how are we doing today?
I am fantastic. I am great. I mean, I'm sure there's other actual reverends out there too preaching their good
Hey,
word.
I am ordained. I can marry people. I am an actual reverend.
I know. And you preach the good word of nature.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I love it. It's good stuff, my guy. It's good stuff. We got good stuff coming up for you. We've had good stuff in the past, good interviews, good talks, good chats, good conversations. Just been keeping busy. I mean, what have you been up to, my cowboy?
Uh, New Year, New Year, a lot of the same old things. Just a lot of working out. I've been doing some trail runs. So I've been getting outside. It's not like too exciting to like show on the socials, although I do show my runs on the social medias and stuff. So you do still see it. Other than that, work is starting to really pick on up. Hopefully, maybe this coming weekend I can get out to a state park in the area that I keep seeing a sign for, and I'm just like, what? Why not just go check it out? Type deal. So,
You see, you
uh,
drive by it enough, you check it out. Like I did that last time I was actually out in Oregon with Tyler. I was like, we drive by that like Tualatin like wildlife refuge thing in between Sherwood and Tigard. Like, let's check it out. Like, let's just drive over
yeah,
there and see what it's about. The visitor center was actually closed when we showed up. That's all right. We'll try it again another time because like we drove into the like parking lot and we're like, wow, like this goes for like quite a ways. Like there's some cool trails and paths in here. Like definitely worth like spending a good, time next time I'm out there, doing just walking around, checking it out.
yeah. So that's the one. The one I'm gonna. It's like the Rogue Valley State Park or Valley of the Rogue State Park, something like that. Literally signs on I-5, so you see it all the time, and it's just like, all right, well, let's hopefully get out and do that this weekend. But other than that, I mean, what do you got going?
I mean, I was just in Red Lodge yesterday. Drove down there, took the Jeep up a trail, and like crazy because like I'm looking at this trail, the Hell's Roaring Trail, kind of right up behind the campground there. And typically this time of year, like you can't get anywhere because of the snow being so high and so fluffy and whatever. But it's not been a snowy year, my guy. It's kind of crazy to see that area without that, especially to see like last year where they did have a lot of snow and a lot of rain in the spring, which isn't good. You need that snow to come so it melts slowly, but they had the rain, which caused that flooding. And you drive right down there in Red Lodge, and you know right where that box car is in Red Lodge, that little you get lunch there, the little like caboose.
I've only been to Red Lodge, I think,
Twice.
once, to be honest, maybe twice. We drove through it, maybe, but I don't know if I've actually ever physically stopped in Red Lodge now
So
that I
we
really
need
think about
to.
it.
You're telling me we need to take you to the candy shop, uh, the Red Lodge Pizza Company. Got to take you to the box car. Got to take you to the just Red Lodge, man.
Yeah, I've driven through it. I know I've driven through it because we've done the Beartooth Pass, and that's how you get there. But
Well, kind of at the very end of the main street, right where it meets like the end of town, kind of, but where meet Rock Creek, the river kind of coming out right there.
yeah.
That building, man, it's still just ripped out, torn out, where all those just river boulders were.
Oh,
Yeah, it was wild. Um,
yeah, that is wild.
but crazy. I mean, there wasn't a lot of snow. We did the candy shop, we did the uh jerky shop they have. They got a bunch of little like touristy, and antiques, and of course
Yeah.
they got a rock shop, right? But in the spring they even have, or the summer they have a motorcycle rally, for because a lot of people like to take that route, the Beartooth Pass, as on their way to Sturgis. So I think it's
Yeah,
August they have that, that happens there. Yeah, how many times have you done the Beartooth Pass?
just twice. Very first time I went out to Montana, we did it. And then when we did the like 12 parks and however many days, we did it to get into Yellowstone at the very end.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And that one was to just jump into the park real quick. But
Yeah, that one was a quicker like drive through the Beartooth Pass. The first time we made stops along the way here and there. We saw that herd of elk.
no,
We
yeah,
stopped at that really cool lake. Um, so you know,
next time you're in the area, that Red Lodge and the Beartooth Pass seem to be a priority. Getting yeah.
well, I mean, I think it's worth it, at least if I go into what is it, Yellowstone, because every time we go in that way, it's always been a banger. So
Always wolves, bears.
yeah, oh my.
Oh my, yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
yeah.
Well,
So
the
I
other one
mean,
I really want to take you to is the Bighorns, because even like, remember that hike we talked with, everyday backpacker Calman.
oh yeah.
He was talking about how that national forest area, where it's like they wanted to turn it into a national park at one point, and he was like, about it. The locals are like, no, like it's better kept
Yeah.
as like national forest.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I don't know. Be honest, I've done a lot of Montana. I want to just go do something else, something completely new for the next year or two, maybe three, and then find my way back out to Montana.
I feel
Um,
I feel you. Like that's why we got something coming up, right? And if you probably read the title, I mean, I'm sure the Wanderers, I mean, we got the dedicated fans like Old Man, Old Truck. I know Squatch. We know you're listening in and we appreciate it. We love you guys. Matt Buddy's not listening in, so shoot. But if you're familiar with this and you're looking at the title, we're going to Iceland, cowboy.
yeah, we are going to good old Iceland. Super stoked about this. Beyond beyond real means, honestly, because it's like it's been a bucket list item place for me. It's in my top five places I really want to go. Um, I've often dreamt of Iceland, and so I'm actually I think the excitement level's pretty high, and then it will continue to creep up and up and up as we get closer. We're still in January right now, so it's still a little bit out of the ways, but Iceland.
I'm stoked. I like you said, it's on our bucket list, dream trips, all that lit top fives that we're going to have to redo after this trip, because we've done it after this trip, so we'll be able to redo and bring a new place onto the list that we haven't talked about possibly. But I'm super excited because, like you said, this is something like we've even talked about for a while to do,
Mhm.
and it just seems feasible. We found a one direct flight from Portland to Iceland, and that's, to me, that's crazy to find. And that's, it's kind of a base. Portland's kind of a weird base for us when you talk about international airports. But I like it. I like that we have that opportunity. We have a great shot, time to do it. It's in June when we're going to do this, where it's possible that we're we are going to see the what you call it, the days where like the sun don't set. Do they have a
Oh
name?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was reading something. Yeah, because we're gonna be close to the solstice. We are not going during the solstice, but we are the week before the solstice. And I was reading it was like I want to say they call it like I think there's like 4 hours of non-daylight, so it's just 20 hours of daylight, which will be wild. Um, so it will be good old long days. I think another thing that makes this trip kind of cool, and more feasible for us, like now, as we've gone through, um, is doing it in the camper van.
Right. I'm interested in this because this is the first kind of like RV camping out of a car. Well, kind of experience. The fact that it's a camper van where the beds are inside the vehicle,
Yeah.
is kind of the new experience. But like, we've done those long road trips where you are living out of a car and you're hitting campsites, and that's not going to be any different. I feel like we're going to be hitting campsites. Um, I don't know. I mean, to me, this also seems like one of the things you do see in Iceland as a means of like tourism. Like this is like it's not uncommon there.
Oh, super not. I think there's a lot of people that like to go and do the camper van style because that allows you so much freedom, you know, which is what makes it so much more exciting to do it in that camper van because, we can find these campsites that have just banger views when you like wake up. So it's like, open the damn car door and boom. Or, you've driven to these spots the night before. And so you can just get up and go. So, that's the exciting part of doing it out of a van like that. There's it's gonna be tight quarters because it's a van, but that's part of the fun. We're only doing it for a week, and buzz around. But no,
Right. See some cool shit and see some cool things and cool places that we want to see. You see it on Instagram all the time.
100% we do. Um, yeah. So part of the episode is not just talking about us how our like all ice. Well, it is all Iceland. I'm lying. It's all Iceland. It's about what kind of our top 5 things that we would like to see while we're there in Iceland. And depending on these lists, maybe we'll, you know, plan our trip around 5, 6, maybe 10, maybe more things to see. Um, we have not seen each other's lists
Nope.
as we do this top 5. So it's a surprise to us, which is the way I like to do it. I like to get a little surprise going. So we're going to do top 5 things we hope to see in Iceland or that we want to see in Iceland. So you're number 5. What is it, my man?
Number 5. I want to explore a glacier. So you see those like hikes where people are hiking on glaciers or through those glacial caves, slash see a black sand beach.
Okay.
So kind of like, you know, there's going to be a lot of opportunities, I think, for both of these, when it comes to like options, just finding, the opportunity to do something like that, and see these places. Like the black sand beaches are cool, but I'm sure
Yeah.
like it's one of those where it's like, oh, pull over right here. I'm gonna get out and take a photo. I'm gonna, let's pull over and chill here for a bit. Where like even exploring a glacier, it's finding like, oh, in this town they do this tour or this.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's for sure. There's probably a lot more planning getting on top of the glacier. I know so for facts because when I was researching for this episode, I found some. Um, but my number 5, is a waterfall. There's a specific waterfall I really want to see, and I'm gonna butcher the name because I'm gonna butcher the name for like all of these, because I don't speak very good Icelandic. But it's called the Godafoss waterfall. Uh,
Okay.
I'm
Not on my
I'm gonna
list.
I'm gonna show you a picture of it. The sweet part about this is it is just kind of a pullover. Um,
Oh, heck yes.
So it's big, kind of like semicircle. Look, I think even this one has the viewpoint probably.
Like,
So,
no,
um,
I'm about this. I'm about it. It doesn't look
yeah.
like
So
it's
for
that
the people that
big.
are just listening, it's like this semicircle waterfall. I think I've never been, but I would imagine it's kind of similar to like Niagara Falls.
Right. I don't know if it's that big though, just based on
Yeah. Well,
pictures.
I don't think it's like huge, but
No,
who
it's
knows?
waterfalls are neat to see. I feel like we will have opportunities to see a lot,
I
just
do.
based on especially the time of year, June, right? When you
Hmm.
think about it, is the sun is out, so it is melting all that ice and snow in Iceland,
Yeah,
right?
there's gonna be some good water in those waterfalls.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some water tests while we're out there with our. I'll bring my life straw,
There you
and
go.
we'll have. I'm about it. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you see like Icelandic water in the shops in the stores, as as those like glacial fed water things that get sold as water
Yeah, the
bottles.
water's
Um,
probably pretty on point over there.
I think so. Well, and I think like the like the waterfalls, like you're saying, are going to be pretty neat. A lot do look like pullouts based on some of the research I've done. It does look like, oh, pull over here, do that, which I like because it opens it up for us to do a lot more of that. So it's like we do get to see quite a few of them. It's not like, oh yeah, to see that one, it is going to be a day hike, and
Mm.
that does eat into your time. So it's kind of neat that they have that. And I mean that makes sense, right? It's both of our fives are kind of those roadside attractions that we hope. I mean, other than explore a glacier, but just like some of those like stops that I feel like while you're like you're saying in a camper van,
Yeah,
we'll we'll be able to accomplish and do.
for sure. There. I mean, yeah, there'll be a lot of stops, a lot of like quick checkouts, but there'll be a good mix of getting in and out of areas as well. Number four.
Number four, so we're sticking in the waterfall category, and it is the Selejatland S-Foss, Selejatland waterfall, and based on it's spelled Seljalandsfoss,
Found it.
and it is like almost one you walk behind. It's a
Oh,
large
oh, oh,
waterfall.
oh. I think I've seen pictures
Oh, I'm sure you have. This
and
is
videos on Instagram of it.
it's pretty popular. I'm surprised looking at these photos of it that I'm sure when we're there, you'll actually be taking photos with more people in the waterfall.
Yeah,
And
like this one over this bottom
yeah,
right one.
or up top left there.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure this is right, like this one.
But I like the ability that we'll probably be able to walk under it, around it, over it. But see, that again opens it up for us, you know, being smart, that time of year to get those sunrise, sunset photos in like a June. I feel like, yeah, we might be up at 4 a.m. or 2 a.m. to get that and that's when you will, and that's when people probably won't be up in some cases. So it's figuring out our how to be strategic when you are seeing these places and being in a van. It is like, oh no, we can be there at this time.
Yeah. No, that's the big perk of the van. No, that's a legit waterfall. I'd
I
be
do
down.
think I think it's another one of the roadside attraction type ones.
I I don't know, the more research I'll go into, you find out a lot more of it. Um, so,
Right.
but moving on, my number four. When I was doing looking for my number four, I was looking for stuff on the east side of Iceland because I wanted to find stuff at all the different spots. And this one, to me, when I saw it, I was just like, oh, you can just spend like an afternoon and just monkey around these giant boulders. So this is like
Oh,
pretty far west, and what it is it's just these giant rocks with like lakes kind of just in the middle of it there.
that's cool. Gate to Hell, that one says. A beautiful lake in Iceland stock photo. Fjord, Strud Fjord. Yeah, I'm about it.
Gotta love some stock photos.
Oh no, I'm about it. I mean, you get like these glacial lakes essentially up in, yeah, I'm about it. It
Yeah,
looks,
to me it was like this is a good leg shaker in the middle of the day while you're trying to get
well,
across the
look,
island, you know?
it looks like a hike, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's a very long one though.
No, I'm about it though, to have some of those scheduled in to where we're able to jump around the island, like you're saying, and get into those places because every not everything's a roadside attraction, especially the good stuff. A lot of the good stuff you have to work for and hike to get back into and see. And I'm excited to do some of that while we're there too.
I am too. I am too. There'll be just I think a lot of good opportunities to have more of shakeouts, especially on the days where or the times where we're staying in one area more.
Right.
Um so
Well, and the
um
way I was looking at it too, like it looks like when you compare it in size to the state of Montana, I feel like it's very similar with some of the when you talk about doing a circle in like 16 hours,
oh
like I feel like you could do it here in Montana. Yeah, it's maybe a little bit bigger in places, but like thinking about that, I'm like, oh yeah, to do a week to hike in here, do this, do a couple hikes, see some of the highlights. Yeah, you can do all that and really get to know a place and get to understand a place. I think like that, we're kind of that's part of our goal here as well on this trip is
for sure.
really get to know and understand Iceland with these places.
Yeah, yeah, really kind of get in at it. Um but number 3.
Number three for me is the Fa Gra Das Fall volcano. F
Oh,
A G R A D A S F J L L.
what is it spelled again?
FRFAGRADASFJALL. Volcano. And I might
I
have
should
spelled
be
it wrong, but because my handwriting is hard to read.
nice.
But
That's good.
it's the main volcano there in Iceland. I want to really see some lava, some magma. I'm kind of upset our Hawaii trip didn't produce that. So I'm really hoping this Icelandic one can produce that and get us and that's something I want to see. I've never seen it in my life before, so I'd love to get some lava.
Yeah, lava would be pretty sweet to check out. Um it would be really cool to see some the lava and seeing just a volcano erupting. I mean, it's not, not like the ones, but just seeing it still flowing, seeping that good old magma be worth it. No, I'm down. I mean, I have the like national park that the volcano's in on my list, so I'm sure we can at least fit that somewhere.
Right. No, exactly. But I don't know if it is going to require hiking or whatnot. So maybe that is something we do look into. With reservations, I don't know what to like. If it is like, oh, you got to hike 10 miles up this to go see the lava. I'm down. You know what
I
I
am
mean?
too.
Let's
Yeah,
do. Let's sign up for it.
for sure. Start training now.
Right.
um, Yeah, no, the volcano, I want to because it was kind of a bummer. I mean, it was cool to see the volcanoes in Hawaii, but it was a bummer not to see the lava, and then to have it erupt like a month later was kind of a big bummer too. Um, but my number three is Diamond Beach.
Oh yeah. I sent you a picture, I think, of Diamond Beach the other day.
Yeah, no, I had it on my list before you sent it to me, but
That's fine, but yeah, I'm about it. Sign us up.
yeah, it's just I love the way the glacier just looks like glass,
Right.
and so uh, I I kind of want to just see that because it will be really cool to see, and I mean, great photos coming your way here.
I am curious though. Are we able to see it in June?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some good old ice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Yeah, no, it's cool. Diamond Beach is cool. And what's really cool about where it's located too, it's just another one right off the highway, right there, right on the ocean.
Yeah. So and it's down in that volcano area.
Yeah.
So they'll be good to see that. It sounds like the volcano will be a big that area will be a big one. And I mean there's a lot of stuff in that area as well.
Right.
So being
It's
able going and probably that's probably one for sure we'll spend 2 maybe even 3 days depending um at like one spot. So
Well, you're right. And it is like it's figuring out like, hey, this is going to be our base, sort of. We're going to work our way here, within this area today. And then because then it'll position us here or whatever. And even like you said, like I know there'll be some things, and that's something we need to get on is we need to like campsites to book and other things that may require reservations to think about ahead of time because that does cause a strain. If you get there and you want to do something and you can't do that, it throws a wrench
yeah.
and changes.
Thing is, everything I've heard or read about Iceland thus far when it comes to the campsites is like no one's ever made reservations at a campsite in a lot of these places. So sounds like you can just kind of get one fairly easy.
That's good to know. That's real good to know. Because that's something that we do have to be mindful of. You never know. Just coming here. If you're coming to the national parks in the US, you better get some reservations.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they still have the first come first serves
Right.
as well. So
And
I mean,
that's a nice thing about being in the camper van like that is like you said, we can wake up early, have everything ready to go, and get into a first come first serve if you're on
mhm.
that kind of style. And then put like yeah, and position ourselves like, oh, we don't have to camp here, we can camp here. Like it just opens us up for a little more flexibility as well, to get into these places. But it does sound like kind of that area, and I believe it's like the southwest area where a lot of this stuff
Yeah,
it really sits and lies of big tourism that you do see.
yeah. It's going to be the busiest area for sure as well. But I mean, there will be a ton of cool shit when we go to Iceland. And speaking of cool shit, it's time for cool shit in nature. Because I love cool shit in nature. I mean, if you've been watching instead of just listening, you get to see some cool shit in nature pretty much the whole episode because we're just showing a bunch of Iceland pictures. And spoiler, this video is of a place in Iceland. It's not on my list. That's why it's in the cool shit category.
Right.
But
Gotta diversify.
yeah, it's another waterfall. Um,
It's another waterfall we hope to go see, huh?
yeah. Um, when this one's really roaring too. So it's this thing's got a lot of oomph to it.
Uh,
But
Diafoss waterfall.
yeah, D Tifos waterfall. Um, Super cool. I honestly, I don't even know what part of Iceland this one is. It's a video of a waterfall in Iceland I found. And I was like, oh, this is a great one to show today.
Yeah, it really is. It's a good choice.
So I was kind of thinking of getting into sport fishing again, but I feel like I need a good quality net.
Well, you know what, Reverend? I got the key solution for you. Our friends at Blue Ribbon Net make this eco-friendly aquafade bag, so you're not hurting the environment. It's 100% biodegradable. Plus, the wood is locally sourced and it is also biodegradable. And it's just such a great company to use. The Blue Ribbon Nets, they're here in Bozeman, Montana. And we even have a discount code. That's right. If you use the code Rougarou10, that's right. That's my Jeep, the Rougarou. Rougarou10, Rugaru10. You're going to get some discount on a Blue Ribbon net. You can get the long one if you're fishing the big fish, or you can get just the good river one, if you're like me and just want to catch a lot of fish.
So again, make sure you go check out Blue Ribbon and use the promo code Rougarou10.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
And for the second cool shit in nature today, it's a picture of Iceland. It's just all Iceland today. Just giving inspiration for things that we could see. This one's just kind of a cool picture with the contrast of everything, but it's a black beach.
Well, I'm gonna write this down. This commenter says La Gaywagur trail. And Black Beach, I want to see. This is kind of cool because I bet you they have a drone for this photo.
Oh yeah.
And the more and more I look at Iceland's photos, we have this conversation. I'm looking at taking I'm thinking of upgrading some of my camera equipment just for this trip. You know what I mean?
Oh, just for
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah, so there's some things I mean it's going to be fun. It's going to be epic. It's going to be beautiful. There's going to be a lot to see. A lot of places that I want to see. I know a lot of places you want to see, but it's just that I feel like the photo opportunities are going to be pretty stellar.
Yeah, I think photos going to be very cool. I know I contemplated maybe getting a different camera. I thought about getting another camera to do a lot of different things with, but I know for a fact I will be taking the Super 8 camera with me on this one. So I think it'll be a lot of great footage you can get, at least with the style I like to do as well.
No, I think so. I think especially with the van behind the scenes, like you like to get and that's one thing I've noticed, and one thing I think the Wanderers have let me know, both through the Rougarou and other things, and just the response we do get is some of those behind the scenes of just like hanging out, having a good time. People enjoy seeing that. So the more and more we can share that and make you feel like you're a part of the journey with us, it's fun. And yeah, and we'll get those clear shots and epic moments as well. But I think, yeah, you give a little personability to those. And I believe you can watch that Hawaii one that you took your Super 8 on Wandering Ways YouTube, where you can also watch this podcast live. You can also watch the podcast live on Spotify video, or you can listen in on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever else you may get your podcasts. Um, yeah, and if you want to reach out to us, please shoot us an email at wanderingwayspodcast@gmail.com. WANDERINGWAYSPODCAST @gmail.com.
Love it. Always love a good plug. Yeah, no, I think the artistic ability for this trip alone can be pretty high. So pretty excited
Right.
for that opportunity as well. So I'll have to get out and practice some stuff out while I can. So that way when I'm in Iceland, I got the reps. I'm feeling good.
Exactly, my guy. Exactly.
But moving on in our top 5 things that we hope to see in Iceland, we're moving on to number 2. So, number 2, my man.
Um, Number 2 is the Stu Olagil Canyon. And I'm sure many of our wanderers have seen this place before. It reminds me of Devil's Tower, with the way the cliffs are shaped. They kind of have that slot look.
Yeah, it
Um,
does. Now that you mentioned Devil's Tower.
right? And then you see that like it's a canyon of that. I don't think it's really that big, based on the photos I have seen of it and and the places. Uh, but I want to see it.
Yeah, I think this is pretty cool. Um, I saw what area this is located in, and I want to see this as well too. Actually, I remember why I didn't put it on my list. Now is because I knew you had this on your list. And so I was like, I'm gonna look for other things in that area to do. And that's when I found the giant boulders. Because that's
Okay.
in the same area of Iceland. But these would be super cool. There's just something about the way the rock is cut into the ground or into the side there that's just like, whoa.
Exactly. It's just that slot that, but I think it's basalt.
Yeah.
I'm not if I'm reading those correctly.
Yeah, could
um,
be.
I'm excited. It's one of those things you see the pictures of, when you're creating these lists. The nice thing about creating this list, and I'm glad we're doing it now in January, as we have till June to plan, but it's to start familiarizing ourselves with these places, to really start highlighting ourselves with these places. And we prioritize. When you start ranking number one, number two of things you want to do, you're going to make sure those things happen. And this is one of them. When you're talking about driving the whole island, you're right, it is on that one side where you're like, this is going to be a priority over here, almost in that sense. You know I feel like your number two is probably right up there as well.
Well, my number 2, my last 2 are kind of broader areas of
Okay.
because it's basically the 2 spots as of right now. The more I'm reading into Iceland, this may change. I've already started shifting a little bit on it. But these are like the 2 places I'd like to spend more than one day in.
Okay.
Um, and so for this first one for me, not my number 2 is the Vat Nahoku National Park. I butchered that
Okay.
name horribly. It's where the volcano is.
Right. And just
So,
like any other national park, they have a lot more to offer.
yeah, like there's this waterfall. They don't have the name of it here. That'd be a super dope one to
Well,
see. I mean,
and
there's glaciers, ice
right there,
caves.
the glacier tours that I want to do.
Yeah.
Ice caves would be cool.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, there's just a lot other than the volcano. So, I mean, this is an area I just want to spend. I don't want to just drive through.
Right. No, you want to maybe camp, maybe spend a day, 2 days, 3 days there,
Yeah.
nights. Depends on what we're doing, right? What we can do, what we want to do in a day. God, that ice cave looks cool.
Yeah. Looks really
Yeah, I'm
cool.
about it. Sign me up. Let's do it. It's happening.
Yeah. No, it'll be, I mean, we will for sure be in that area. There's tons of other things. Um, you know, there was a lot in that farther southwest corner, kind of towards the main city. They got like the Golden Circle Drive. There's a lot of stuff you could see on that. So I mean, I'm sure hitting a couple of those. Um, there's the other thing I noticed when I was looking at maps and stuff is, there's a lot of off-road opportunities to get to places. So, we'll have to strategize our route, make sure we don't get too lost. We are going with myself, and I get lost all the time.
I think that's why you keep me around. I'm pretty good with directions. No, we get lost, and we've already had the one mishap with the vehicle. With we rented it for the week after we booked our flights
Oh,
for it, so we had to
yeah,
get it changed. So I feel you. We're going to have to sit down. We're going to have to really kind of. You're right. If we're going to go off road and go places like, hey, we might buy a highway Iceland map just so we
yeah.
know, we're ready to go. With our insurance on the car, we made sure to get the off-roading kind of like insurance just to make sure that
Hmm.
we're covered in that sense. Because apparently the volcano is very damaging, and it is. You see the movies, you hear the stories. That volcanic ash is some powerful stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? One thing I did find, and I don't have it on my list because I don't think it's worth a small stop very quickly, but it's the area where they filmed Walter Mitty, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, because it's all in
Okay.
Iceland. I found it by chance, and I saw a picture, and I was like, oh, that's from the Walter Mitty movie. Like, you gotta see that.
Right? No, I'm about it. I think we should.
Yeah, I
I
think you drive through the town when you like do the main road. So it's like
Yeah.
it's super easy to kind of get. Um
Bring your
but yeah, no,
longboard.
there's gonna be tons off-road opportunities, sightsee, all that stuff. And that's all leading to this apex moment of this episode. It's our number one things that we're hopeful to see in Iceland. Ranger Zach, what is your number one?
This should come as no shock to anybody, but the Blue Lagoon.
Good
The Blue
old
Lagoon.
Blue Lagoon.
Well, like if you think about it, like it's one of those places. Like look at this hot spring. It's huge. It
Yeah.
like even there, you look at the ones with a lot of people in the photos, it doesn't look too terrible. It is like they say, go in the morning, go in the afternoon, pick the times that the people aren't there. I like that it has the modern but like rock look as well. Um, yeah, I'm about it, dude. There was another lagoon I sent you of photo or video of earlier today too, which I'm always down for a good hot spring. I mean, I out here in
I
Montana.
was curious when you sent it to me. It was Sky Lagoon. And I wasn't when you sent it to me, I wasn't sure if you sent it to me because you liked the hot spring or if you were like, I want to do the full on ritual thing that they had there.
Oh, they have a ritual thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Icelandic rituals are, but essentially what it is you go in the hot, you go in the hot lagoon, then you get out, you go in the cold plunge for like 30 seconds, and then you get out and you get into a sauna. And then after the sauna, you do like a body scrubbing, and then from the body scrubbing, you go to a steam room. and then after the steam room, you either shower and go or you hang out in the like lagoon more.
Oh,
Yeah, I because I wasn't sure what I was like. Is he wanting to do like a full on ritual? I didn't see Zach as a cold plunge guy.
I mean, when we did the hot spring in Ashland, um, that one's weird. I'm just gonna put that out there. But
Oh,
like,
super! But
I'm
I
not
knew I know what I'm getting into.
right. I'm not a fan of the like hot tub being the small pool. When you go to a hot spring, right? Like I feel like that should be the main, like the big pool should be that with the, and then make the cold one the little one. But when we were there, we did that. Like I jumped into the sauna right after being in the hot tub, and right after the sauna, jumping into that cold water felt amazing. I'm about it. I mean, swimming here in Montana, our swim season was the winter. So part of our winter practices, sometimes our coach would make us, run out of the gym or the pool, go roll around in the snow and then jump back in the
What
pool.
the fuck?
So like we did stuff like that sometimes.
I mean, okay, that's an odd one, but it's still cold therapy, I guess. No, I mean, hot springs for sure will be on there. I wouldn't be surprised if most nights had some sort of hot spring.
I'm about
Um,
it. If most nights do, that makes for a good fucking vacation.
because they have a ton of them everywhere, right? So,
Every
we
campground,
could
if we could prioritize campgrounds with hot springs, sign me up, man.
there you
Why
go. So,
not?
I mean, maybe, I mean, for real though, maybe it's something we look into, how we do that, because that'd be pretty sweet too, as well.
Right.
My number one, again, is not really a specific spot. It's more of an area. And main reason I think nobody goes to this area because it's harder to get.
Are you talking
And
the
it's
northwest corner?
Yep, the West Fords.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm glad you brought this up. This to me, because it's the wildlife refuge. It's a pot like puffins, orcas, like all sorts of like.
I know, and I was like looking at a map, and there's like two ways that you can get into this area. There's a map over here I'm going to show you. There's two ways to get into this area. You can take the road, right? That's the most common. But there's also in this west region, at the very end, that tip is a national park. And you apparently there's a ferry from right
Oh,
there that
sign
takes
us up.
you over to the
Yeah,
West Fords.
we're doing that. That's
So
priority.
yeah, so it's reason I just mainly want to get up to the West Fords. But
You're going to take
you
that
know,
road out anyway.
Oh, 100%. And I was like looking at it and I was like, well, I really want to see like all three of the national parks Iceland has. I was like, I feel like that's just something we go to all these national parks and all that. You got to see all of them there. And so I was looking up the areas, and that one in the West region is the most isolated one. And I think that one would be legit as hell, because I think that's where most of the puffins are actually.
And that's
And
why I
so
want
then
to
I saw
upgrade my.
there was a ferry that went out that way, and I can't remember. I saw the price, but I can't remember what the price was.
Add it up.
So
You're doing it. I'm about it because ferry, great experience. Who loves a good ferry? I love a good ferry. Um, you're as we're working through this trip here, talking about this trip, I think we land and I think we go up there first, prioritize those areas and the drive first, because I feel like there's a lot less to do on the drive. So we can do that in the first half of the trip and then really take
yeah,
that second half to spend by the volcano, to spend by the town. So that way it's like, oh no, we were here this morning, we can do this and then go catch our flight or go to the airport. Um, if we did that right, kind of like a clockwise rotation of the island.
yeah, I think very much so. we could easily do something like that. I'm trying to think of it in my head real quick, and I think it's very possible. But that area, the West Fords, it seems like nobody goes there because it is harder to get to. And so I think getting away from some people,
Yep.
I would want to really badly hit like some small town in Iceland and just, I don't know, buy like a pastry. Um,
Go to the bar and get a Dr. Pepper, like
yeah, yeah,
just
ideally, I want to go to a bakery. There's just something about when a bakery in another country, it's just the atmosphere of the bakery or like a coffee shop, and you're like, okay, because it's just regular people getting their coffee or their donut, whatnot. So you can see how life is in Iceland.
well, that's why I say a bar, because usually the more north you go, like you get up into Canada, you get up into it's bars.
True,
You know
fair.
what I mean? You're up when it gets dark and cold, I feel like
Yeah.
bars.
No, that you're very true, very true. So, no, but uh, getting up there, West Fords, I really badly want to do. It's just different terrain. I want to see as much as I can, but I'd like to spend more than like a day in these parts in those two.
Well, and
But
you hit on the wildlife, and that's something that we really haven't talked about, because we're unfamiliar with the Icelandic wildlife. And when you talk about the puffins and getting into a park like that, like to see the wildlife to me is going to be it's going to be new, it's going to be different, it's going to be unique, it's going to be cool. I am stoked. I am so glad we're doing this. I just wish we could do more. And if the Wanderers want to help us out, support us, buy some merch, send us a donation. We'd love it.
yeah, 100%. But no, those are top five things that we hope to do in Iceland. As things get closer, we'll probably talk more Iceland, that kind of stuff. So this won't be the last time we hear or you guys listen to us talk about it. But it is that time. It is time for our final words. And so, final words, my man.
Guys, this is one of those trips. It's a bucket list trip. It's a top 5 dream locations trip. It's an international trip. It checks a lot of boxes for the Wandering Ways team, for myself personally, and my personal goals. I know Mark and his personal goals. This trip can check a lot of boxes as well. And it's really planning this far in advance. It's not that much more expensive than if we planned a trip to Vegas or Miami or to New York or to Los Angeles weekend or week. It's going to cost about the same. We kind of did that math, that figurization. And it's just that planning, getting the time off work and making it happen. And just like really what it came down to is like, are we doing this? Yeah, I think we are. So let's do it, and that traveling, that's honestly what I feel like it comes down to, is just like, yeah, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to have to just survive and figure it out. And that's take more risks, people. Like, do it. Just have fun and just go fucking do it. All right, Reverend.
100%. Reverend, final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate every single one of you for listening all the way through. Super excited. It's gonna be awesome. Real quick, pick up some plastic, go take care of the climate. Woodsy the owl, give a hoot, don't pollute. You buy tons of flooding, weather's weird. It's all climate change. It's real. So we can hopefully maybe someday reverse that. So that way we don't all just burn. Because that'd be super, super sad. But with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.